I hate being broke. Hello? Hello, is this Queenie? Yeah, this is Queenie. You had a long-lost relative, Warren Muppet, who was a billionaire who has recently passed. I'm so sorry for your loss. Oh, I didn't know that I had a long-lost relative called Warren Muppet. Well, he did put you in his will, so you have just inherited $500,000. Whoa, $500,000? Thank you so much. I'm just kidding, it didn't happen that easily. I lived a pretty frugal life when I moved out of home at 19, and I was self-reliant from that age, and that is when I moved in with my boyfriend Pablo. At the time, both of us weren't earning very much money, and we also found it difficult to find work because we didn't have much experience. Eventually, I found my first office job, and I worked as a part-time unpaid intern and a part-time telemarketer, but I still wasn't earning very much money. The first thing that helped us reach $500,000 was living frugally. Pablo and I couldn't afford to eat out even if we wanted to, so what we did was we meal prepped all of our food so that we could bring it into work to save money. Both of us took out $80 cash each, and we used this $160 to buy groceries, and that's kind of how we used to budget our food back in the day. Before we bought anything, we really made sure that we actually needed the thing that we were buying, and if we were really going to get use out of it. And we also tried to buy things secondhand to save some money. Living frugally taught us how to appreciate the small things in life, and even as we started to earn more money, we still kept a pretty similar lifestyle, not because we felt like we needed to restrict ourselves, but because we just enjoy living below our means, we enjoy finding the best deal, and we just enjoy living frugally. Even though we could afford to eat out every day, we decided to just keep on meal prepping and bringing our lunch into work because it saved us money and we also just enjoy it. My homemade lunch cost around $3, and buying lunch out at a cafe or a restaurant would usually cost around $15. So every day I was saving around $12. Over a year, this saved me $3,120 just by bringing my lunch to work. We lived in the same one-bedroom apartment for 4 years. Even though we could afford to upgrade to a fancier apartment, we realized that we didn't really need to. Our rent was $400 per week, and we could have upgraded into a fancier apartment that cost $550 per week, which is around the average for Sydney. But this would have costed us $7,800 more per year. So just by staying in the same apartment and bringing our lunch to work, this saved us over $10,000 per year. One thing we would have done differently is knowing when to spend less money and knowing when to spend more money. For example, cost per wear. I used to feel guilty about spending money on clothes, but what I realized is it's okay to spend a bit more money on clothes that you'll wear more often and a better quality than spending less money on clothes that you probably won't wear as often and doesn't last as long. And the same principle goes for appliances and technology, especially the ones that I use all the time every day. For example, my coffee machine. At the time, we spent $600 on this coffee machine and grinder, and I remember feeling kind of anxious about it, especially because it was quite a lot of money. But we have had this coffee machine for the past 3 years, and we use it every single day, so it is absolutely worth every single dollar that we spent on this coffee machine. The next thing that I wish we did differently is consider time saving. Back when we didn't have a lot of money, we would do anything to save some money. For example, we were more than happy to go to a food market a few hours away just so that we could save a few dollars on our shopping instead of going to a supermarket right next door. Another thing we learned is that it's so important to spend money on things that make us happy and things that bring us joy. Now we leave budget for enjoying life, having fun, spending money on travel and going out with our friends because those are the things that make us happy and those are the things that are going to help us create memories at the end of the day. Investing. By living frugally, we were able to save quite a bit of money, but we realized that the price of things just kept on getting more expensive because of inflation. We had $5,000 sitting in a bank account, and even though the idea of investing scared us because we didn't want to lose money, we also realized that by having our money sitting in a bank account, it was like it was already losing money because of inflation. And I knew that $5,000 in the future probably wouldn't buy me as much as it does today. Pablo's birthday's coming up, so I need to get him a cake. How much is this one? This cake is $5,000. It's on sale. Back in 2021, I could buy a cake for $50. I should have invested. I did not want future Queenie to struggle, so I decided to invest that $5,000 into a robo-advisor that automatically diversifies my investments. Then we started learning about ETFs, individual stocks, and crypto. We decided to invest as much money as we could so that we could eventually have $100,000 so we could use that money to purchase our very first property. If I were to go back in time, I wish that I started investing earlier with a smaller amount of money. At the time, I thought that I needed a few $1,000s to start investing because I didn't know that you could start investing with $5 with micro-investing apps like Raise and Spaceship. And now there are full-service brokerages like Pearler, which allow us to invest from $100. And if you would like to check out these platforms for yourself, I have some affiliate links down in my description below so we can both get some free money or free brokerage credits. Buying our first property. In 2019, we hit our goal of saving up $100,000, so we started to look around for places to buy. We live in Sydney, which has a very expensive property market, so we ended up purchasing this 2-bedroom apartment for $500,000. When we bought this apartment, it really needed renovations. The kitchen had cupboards that were falling off the hinges, the oven didn't work, there was only one hot plate that worked, and the bathroom had mold. So we saved up some money so that we could renovate our apartment. In total, we spent $45,000 on renovating the kitchen, bathroom, flooring, and lighting. And now, 2 years later, our apartment is valued at $620,000. So we decided to take out some of our home equity so that we could invest it in the stock market. And the reason why we decided to take out some of our home equity to invest is because our interest rate on our home loan is quite low, and our expected returns from the stock market are much higher than the interest rate that we are paying on our mortgage. Obviously, there are many other things to consider, for example, taxes, and it is also very unlikely that interest rates for home loans will stay as low as they currently are. But don't quote me on that. And if you would like to invest in this YouTube channel and follow along the journey, make sure you do subscribe for more. Looking back now, even though I know that you often do need to pay lender's mortgage insurance if you do have less than a 20% deposit, if I were to do my time again, I probably would have purchased this place with less than a 20% deposit, because then we would have been able to get onto the property ladder sooner, or we wouldn't have had to sell our shares because some of them have done quite well over the past few years. I wish we also considered rent vesting as an option instead of just going straight to buy to live. Increasing our income. It was good to have a high salary, but the more that I was paid, the more my employers expected from me. I really need these documents tonight. Do you think you can do it? I was actually supposed to go to dinner with my boyfriend tonight, but that's okay, I'll cancel, he'll understand. Thanks, Queenie. You're my favorite employee. I used to think that companies really cared about me, but after a few years, I realized that they only really cared about me when I had something to offer them. Hey boss, I was trying to book a meeting with you for over 2 months now. I want to talk about my career progression and salary. Well, you know that money's a bit tight right now, and I've got dinner plans, so I've got to go, but let's pick up this conversation later. And that's what I realized a lot of businesses are like. So Pablo and I decided to start some side businesses and side hustles. Some of our side hustles worked and some of those didn't work. And eventually we started this YouTube channel, which worked well enough that Pablo and I were able to quit our full-time jobs and go full-time on YouTube. Going full-time. After this YouTube channel started to generate more income and it was enough to live off, I left my job and Pablo left his job a couple of months later. The good thing about being self-employed is we have the freedom to choose where we work, when we work, and how we work. For example, just last week we decided to go camping midway through the week and I didn't have to ask for anyone's permission except for myself. Hey, can I go on a camping trip on Wednesday? Yeah, sure, just make sure you get your work done. Aw, thank you. You're the best boss ever. I am so glad that I went full-time because I really see myself doing this for quite a few years and being happy until I eventually reach financial independence. The key things that have really helped us go from $0 to $500,000 are spending money on things that we really value and cutting costs on the things that don't bring us value. Managing risk, not avoiding risk. For example, managing the risk of investing and starting a business. Having a goal of saving our first $100,000 because it gave us something to work towards. Realizing that building wealth takes time and it doesn't happen overnight, but it does get easier to build wealth over time. And finally, think outside the box and don't just follow the crowd. Give this video a like and subscribe to this YouTube channel, and write me a comment below with the word strawberry in it, just so I know who watched this video all the way through. Thank you, see ya!